Hello. Hello, nice to meet you, and we are delighted to see you for this webinar. Welcome. So before we start, we just check together that you heard us and you see us and our screen. So if everything is okay, you can write on the chat, and after we can start. Okay, so we have the first. Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you for this feedback. So let's start for this webinar. During this webinar, we will speak about hardware, software, and how to manage several team and hybrid projects with Tuleap. Okay, so first of all, we will introduce ourselves. So I'm Sebastian. I work for the Tuleap team. My job is to work with you to understand your need and to see how we can identify the several challenges that you have to meet, and after to show you how Tuleap will help you for this. And so I will do this webinar with Julien.
So nice to meet you. My name is Julien Gaudry. I'm business developer inside the Tuleap team. I have the same mission as Sebastian. And today I will support him for this webinar, and I will be behind the camera to respond to your questions inside the chat.
Yes, so don't hesitate to write all your question, and Julien will start then answer, or after at the end of this webinar we will answer them. Okay, so let's start. First of all, I will speak about the agenda of this webinar. I will start with a short, very short story to explain you what is the context of the product development now, and why there is a lot of modification to do and to organize to be more efficient in this kind of project management. After, we will speak about the challenge and the problems that you will meet when you have to manage this kind of product development. So all these challenges are met by the product manager. And I think if you are a product manager, or if you are used to manage some cross-functional team, some problem you should meet them. And after, we'll speak about the solution, how we can fix this problem and help you to be more efficient for your product management. And at the end, we will finish with a demo. Okay, so during this demo, we'll show you how you can we can manage a product. So this product, we imagine that we create a GPS device, and there is several teams that will work on it, and how I can manage them. Okay, let's start. So first of all, let's speak about the digital integration and the context of this kind of organization. Just to explain you, we worked by the past with a medical customer that create a product, and we worked only with the software team. When we work with them, they used Tuleap to develop all the software, and this software will be plugged to their medical device. Okay, so there is a product with other team. Okay, so mechanical team, embedded team, hardware team, automatical team. Okay, all these teams are here to create the hardware product. And after, we worked with the software team, and all the team were separate. Okay, that's why by the past. And now it's not this. Why? Because now the software is a part of the product. Okay, before your company produced two kind of project, the hardware project and the software, and you deliver the both to your customer. Sometimes not in the same timeline. Now it's not possible. You have to integrate all the software inside the product. So that's why all the product development team is reorganized to integrate the software team now in this product development. Now, all digital products are a lot of parts of software, and all the rest of the part is the hardware. You can't dissociate the both. So, what does that mean? That means with this, now the product manager still have the historical team that are used to work with, for example, V-Cycle or Kanban. And now I have to integrate a new kind of delivery production with, for example, Scrum or Agile. Okay, so this kind of organization is the one that can introduce a lot of problem with this. So what does that mean? That means each team will keep their own tool. That's the first big challenge that you will meet, because each team has their own organization, have to keep their autonomy, so they have their own tool. So you should have, for example, here we have 3 teams, you have 3 tools, 3 different tools. What does that mean? That means if you don't have the same tool, all teams that are working on the project will produce some data, but the data is not shared in real time with the product manager. So they have to give the data to the product manager, and the product manager will store them in a file or matrix or every kind of tool that will be a help for him to manage the project. Okay, and he will give back the several requirement, instruction, and what the team have to do. So what does that mean with this? You have a real challenge to be able to synchronize your team and to manage all the data between them. So what are problems that you usually meet with this kind of organization? The first time, it's very time-consuming management. What does that mean? That means because all the team are working by their own, because they are more efficient like this, so there is no problem with this. You have to keep the autonomy of the team. It's very important. You can't impose to all the teams that work in this kind of organization or another one. But that means you will lose a lot of time to take back all the several data from each team. The second one, with this kind of organization, you could break your traceability. That means, for example, you have your mechanical team create a specific box for the hardware team. You should, because there are several tools, all the traceability will be stored for the product management. Okay, and so that's why you could have some break with this, because it's manually do. With this kind of organization, you must have a top-down organization. Why? Because it's quite complicated for the team to have communication between them. They can have, yes, and they must have, but it's not easy because they are not working in the same environment. And so that's why the team, it will be quite difficult to synchronize and align them to be sure that they have in their mind the main objective of the product. So how we can fix this? Let's start about this organization. First step, we can break this kind of data exchange. That means you reorganize your team. Okay, you stop this communications that are not in real time, and you put all your team in the same tool. Okay, so that means you put one tool. Okay, and in this kind of organization, as you can see, there is direct link between all the team. So the team know what the other one are doing, what they need. Okay, so it's more efficient for the transversal communication, and the product management, the product manager have access for all the data in real time, because you are on the same tool. Everyone is working in the same workspace. So after, there is the organization about the methodology that are applied for each project. So in the same time, you put this organization in the tool, so in Tuleap, to be able to customize for each team their own workspace. Okay, so they can create as they want. For example, this team will create their workspace to work in V-Cycle, another one in Scrum, another one in Kanban. With this, it will be quite easy to the product manager after to put another workspace that will manage all the other one inside. I will show you during the demo how it works. So with this, you fix your problem with the exchange of data because you are in real time. You don't have to take it back and to synchronize them in other file. You are not obliged to have a top-down organization because you can ask to your team to take back and to give feedback with all the product development. And with this, you keep your traceability because you are on the same environment. So that's why if this team doing something, it can link directly to another activity from another team. So as you can see, and to do an overview of what I just explained, first of all, you centralize all your team, so people and tool in the same with the same project and the same environment. Because you are on the same, and because with Tuleap we are able to create an organization with program and team, you will be able to align your team on the same roadmap. So that's very important. You have one roadmap. On this roadmap, you put your several teams, and the team are autonomous, but they keep in their mind the main roadmap of the product. So each team know why they are working for what. And as I told you, the end-to-end traceability, that means for the first requirement, the code, for example, the development team or a plan for the hardware team, and all the other actions that are doing are linked between them. And when you have to do, for example, certification or something like this, it will be very easy to see what was done. Okay for this? So if there are any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And now I will explain you how we will organize the demonstrations that I will do with you. So during this demonstration, we'll imagine that I'm a product manager for a GPS, and I organize this product management with 3 workspaces. The first one in green, this is the product manager. Okay, so this is the one where I don't produce anything. I just create the system requirements, and each system requirement have several requirements for the software team and hardware team. Okay, so we can imagine there is other team, but we just keep these 2 ones. And as you can see here, the software team is in agile mode, so that means their user story that they have to do, and the hardware team is in V-Cycle, so that's why they will have hardware requirement with the start date and end date. Okay, so system requirement, we define it. We understand that there is 2 user story to do it and 2 hardware requirements. Okay, so with Tuleap we can create it. You link your user story and hardware requirement to the system requirement. Okay, and after, the system requirement appear on the top backlog of the program. After you create your product roadmap, you take your system requirement and you put it on your roadmap. You have to align your team. So what does that mean? That means this product roadmap, it's mirror, so that means it's synchronized with each milestone of each team, and each team can create their own milestone with sprint planning and hardware waterfall, for example, where they will put their own activities. Okay, so now we have the product roadmap, and so the backlog for each team, and after each team plan, because we are on the product roadmap, because we take this system requirement in this product roadmap here in their own milestone. Okay, so that will do automatically. And after, each team will work on their user story and requirement. As you can see here, the software team did their own validation. The hardware team will do exactly the same. They will test what they did. And when everything is done, they can say to the system requirement that it's ready, and we can test it for the system, for the product manager. Okay, so you did your test. After, you will do the end-to-end testing, and when it's finished, you close, and your system requirement, it's ready. Okay, so as you can see with this kind of organization, each team keeps their autonomy, keeps their organization, but are synchronized with the product management. Okay, so let's time for the demonstration. So I think some of you already know Tuleap. For people that doesn't know, I just introduced Tuleap very quickly, and don't hesitate after to ask me if you want a specific demo for you, because I won't show you everything that can do Tuleap. We are on this use case. So Tuleap, we are working like this. I can connect with the navigator. I have my personal page here. When I click here, so each user has their own personal page. Okay, you can organize as you want. You can see here I have several dashboards. In each dashboard, there is some widgets that you can add to have several data from your project. Here I will take this one. Okay, so I can see I have this Epic on my portfolio, and this is the GPS product, and this is where I will work. So now I go on a workspace. Okay, I'm on my product workspace. So this is here where I define the several products that I have to produce for this company that we imagine that we create some GPS. Okay, so the one that it's ongoing right now is this one. You know, I have this product to do, universal GPS with augmented reality. As you can see, it's defined on this several quarter during this year, and is organized with several steps. Okay, specification, implementation, and validation. Standard organization for product management. Now, what I have to do inside this product. I have here another dashboard where I have other widget will give me some other information. And here I see the system requirement that I just spoke with you. The system requirement, I can see here I have already two system requirements that are planned. This one, the 1 and the 2.1. And these system requirements are organized with several activities that are sent to the several teams that are working on this project. About the team, here on this menu, so for each organization, the Tuleap workspace, there is a menu here where you have access to the several team and the services. And you can see for this product roadmap, there is 3 teams, okay, hardware, software, and validation. If I go to my software team, what happened? I see that this software team is in another workspace. Okay, so that means my software team has their own workspace, but as you can see here, it's synchronized on the same step for my product realization. Okay, and after I show you how you synchronize the backlog. So I go back to my product management, and so here you see for this system management, for example, there is some deliverables that have to be done by each team, and after there is a user story for the software and the hardware requirement, and you can create some link between them as you are used to use a Gantt chart like this. Okay, so now let's work and create a new system requirement. Okay, so I will create this one. And how you create a system, you go here. I create this system requirement. Okay, so each field that you can see here, you can customize them. That's very important. Okay, so it's, imagine it's already start and in June. And that's all for the moment. And after I will add some other information for the description and what I want to do. Okay, so I save it. So now, as you can see, this card is just great. I just will modify this one. Okay, so in the same way, I can now continue to work on it. So now I will ask to my team and say, okay, I have a new system requirement. So I want that you add now your deliverable and user story and requirement to this system requirement. So you send this description for the team. Okay, so you set for each team leader work on this. Okay, and after with specific motion, you can send them directly this need. Okay, and now you can put the system requirement on study. Okay, so what I see now, I can go on my software team, for example. Okay, so the software team is here. Remember that the software team is in blue. And on my software team, if I go on my Agile dashboard, the Agile dashboard, this is the tool that you use to manage your project for your team. You can see that I already have a deliverable that is ready. And this deliverable, I want to say, okay, this is a deliverable where I'm working on it. And now I will link this deliverable to the system requirements that were sent from my product manager. Okay, so here you select his parent, and we can see here the list of the system requirements, and this is this one, and I add the link. Okay, so what does that mean now? That means this user story, this deliverable from my software team, it's linked to this system requirement. So when the product manager said, okay, this system requirement, I want to plan in on this product roadmap, it will be done automatically. Okay, so I will do exactly the same, not inside, with this, with the user stories that we're working on it. Okay, so you can see here there is several user story. And the one where we are working is this one. Okay, so I will do exactly the same. I take it and I say, okay, I link to my to this parent. Okay, well, there is here the system. Okay, so now my my user story, it's linked to the system requirement too. Okay, so if I go back to my team, I have exactly the same for my hardware team. Okay, so now, as you can see for the hardware team, the organization is quite different. It keep here this organization with release and phases. Okay, so it keeps the waterfall. On the Agile dashboard, I have this deliverable to do, the same, so I edit it. And I will do the same process. I link to my to this parent to say, okay, this deliverable is this for this system. Okay for this. So now I have all this information. Do the link here for this user story 2, and that's it. And now I can say, okay, I want to plan now my work like this. So I just do a modification here. And okay, it's done. What I can see, if I go back to my program, I see here that my system requirement, it's ready to be planned. I find here the software and the user story that I link, the software deliverable, and the glass specification for the hardware team. And now I said, okay, I want to plan the system requirement inside this roadmap. Okay, so I will do it without the software team, because the software team is already planned in a sprint. So in this kind of organization, it's when your team decide to plan the user story, and instead of it's not planned in a roadmap. So this kind of organization can appear if your team has their own project, for example. Okay, so now I will click it and it should work. Okay, so now the system requirement it's planned. So what happened now for my team? When I go to my software, I see on this agile dashboard the deliverable and the user story. It's not here anymore because my product manager decided to put it inside this product. So when I go to this product, I see on my team that I have here the 3 steps from my product management, and I see that I have these 2 activities to plan. So this user story that will be done during the implementation, okay, and this deliverable that will be done during the specification. Okay, so all the activities are dispatched on each step of my product management. So for the product management, it's okay for them. You know now that these activities are ready for the team. After, your Scrum Master for my software team said, okay, I have a new user story now to plan during the implementation and during my several sprints. Okay, so he decided, for example, to plan this on this sprint 4. So you can see here how your Scrum Master, your software team leader, it's autonomous when he wants to organize. And we can do exactly the same for the hardware team. We take it. Okay, so when I update, you can see that the deliverable here is disappear. Okay, so this is the specification. And so that means you will take this specification here on the backlog and put it here. Okay, so for the team, now they're ready to work on it. Okay, so with this kind of organization, you can use this tool to manage and to do what you are working on. And what the product manager see now when he updates his dashboard, you can see here that there is a new system requirement on his Gantt chart, and when he deploy here, he see the 3 activities that are planned for each team. For the delivery team, okay, so I can see that the hardware it's already finished. It's in a reread, and the specification for the software delivered, it's not started yet. And here, the user story it's planned because it's planned on one of the sprints. Okay, and that's with this kind of organization, you can manage all the several activities. And when you continue to work on it, so we imagine this one, it's done. Okay, and I will go to my team. And in the same way, we imagine that, just to show you how the user story is finished. And with this now, you see that your system requirement, the percentage of completion increase because there are now two user story and one user story and one deliverable that is finished. Okay, so with this organization, you can manage all the several activities. In the same way now, you will see that your product roadmap will increase too. Okay, so with this now, we imagine that everything it's ready, and I want to test it. Okay, so each team can do their own test. So we imagine that I will finish this sprint. Okay, so those are in review. I go on my test management, and here you can see my two user story with the test that I want to do. Okay, so software. So here you can create the test you want. And as you can see here, this is the test for the team. Okay. And you create a campaign. And you can, after delivery, your several tests. So you execute this test, for example, set up the Wi-Fi connection. You said you know that this is for this user story. If you want to have more information, you can go directly on this user story. You see the several links that there is, and directly have access to the system requirements to display the area on the phone. Okay, so you continue to work on it. You imagine that that's okay, and this one that's okay too. Okay. So you can say to your manager now that's okay for me. I'm ready to say everything is done. So these two user stories are ready and tested, validate. Okay. So you can do this each step. You know, at the end of the implementation, for example, where you will take all the user story inside, and with this, after you're able to do all this. So for example, I go here, the planning, you see here the end of the implementation, and I will have exactly the same. All the user stories that were done during all the sprints, and you can do the final test. Exactly the same for the hardware team, okay? And that means everything is done for my product, and we are ready to test it. So you go on your quality system management, and for this, you have the test campaigns that are ready. So the one that I want to test is this one. I find here all the tests with the system management. Okay, so here I can create a new test for this system. So you can add how many steps you want. Okay, and when it's ready, you create your new campaign. Exactly the same that you did, that the team did, but here, this is a campaign from the product management. Okay, so okay, And with this, we can create this campaign. We load all the several tests, and exactly the same. I have the link to my system requirement. If I want to see what was done during the other test, I can do it. Okay, here it's okay. You have your several steps. This one it's okay too. Okay, and I can imagine that the last one it's not okay. So that's a big problem because the end-to-end testing doesn't work. So that means now for this system requirement, there is something wrong and I have to investigate. So I will create an issue. And this issue will be shared with all the team. And in this same way, you will be after able to manage this resolution in exactly the same way that you use the several tasks and user story and deliverable during the project development. Okay, so now the bug is here, and after you can share it with the team. At the end, that I didn't show you, I'll show you it now. You can create a report of it to send, for example, your customer or other. And you create a document, and with this document you have an overview of all the system requirements that were embedded on this product, and the test development and what was done inside. Okay, so you can see here. I just show you what is this kind of document, and after you send this document to your quality team or other. So this is here the traceability matrix where there is all your system requirements, if it's valid or not. The detail of each system requirement, how they were realized. For each system requirement, you have the several child in each team. Okay, and after you have the detail of the test. Okay, so this one, for example, with each step, if it's passed or not, and who work on it. Okay, for this, so when after you fixed, you will be able to deliver your product with all the traceability, and you know exactly what was done. So that's the end of this demo. There is a lot of information that I said. So I understand if you have any question about all of this. And don't worry, this webinar will be recorded, so we can send you the record of it.